Hello there, I'm Scotty, and you're not. And welcome back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Today we're going to check out Eternals. Okay, so Eternals was something I was very iffy about. Because, there have been a history of Marvel movies that I didn't know the story to. Like, I didn't know the source material, like Guardians of the Galaxy, or Shang-Chi, excuse me. So I was really iffy on this. And going into this, I had no expectations for this. I was like, okay, I'm going to buy this anyway because it's a Marvel movie, MCU movie, and I collect these. So I'm a whore. I'm going to collect it. I'm going to buy it. Whether or not I like it, doesn't matter. It's going to be my collection. So just to put it out there, I liked it. I didn't love it. I thought it was good. But I am mixed on it. So that kind of tells you what my score is going to be on this. But on one hand, this film tells two different stories. And really, they should have split this into two, where you tell the backstory of the Eternals, how they came to be, their first battle with the Celestials, or the Deviants, and how they defeated them, and through the years, and how that ended, and then cut. And then the second film will be this story, because honestly, I was with the main, the present day story. I was with it, right? I was following it. Every time they come back to show us something else, it took me out of it. I was like, okay, either you show it linear, and so we have at the beginning of this, and then the present day stuff, or you just split it into two films, because it really takes me out when I'm trying to watch what's going on. And I mean, oh, flash, by the way, this happened. And it's like, I get it. Certain TV shows have done it well. Arrow, Lost, they work into flashbacks very well. Some movies have done it. Memento. Other movies, I can't think of Memento's the only one. I think that's one like a backwards thing. I never really seen Memento, but this, one of the things that kind of brings it down for me is that it's so long. It's 158 minutes long. 157, excuse me. And for a movie that's almost 3 hours long, almost as long as Endgame, following characters we know nothing about and are just learning about in this film, it's a little meh. It's a little middle. I don't know. It just, I don't know. It's a little, this isn't one I'm going to go back and rewatch. Because I can't just put it on. I love Endgame. That's another one that I'm not going to have, to sit for 3 hours and just put it in the background. Endgame is one I can still put in the background and do stuff around the apartment. But this one, maybe. But the story here is that there is a Celestial whose name I forget, but it starts with an A, is like Azimuth or something like that. Sends 10 Eternals to Earth to fight off the Deviants. And after about a few hundred years, or 100 years or so, they defeated all the Deviants and just decided to live normal lives because the god with the Azimuth, I'm going to keep calling him that, did not come back to get them or tell them to come home. However, in present day, the Deviants return, causing havoc. And when one of their own is killed, when their leader is killed, Cersei must take up the mantle of leader and try to defeat the Deviants and stop the emergence. Pretty good synopsis, if I do say so myself. It's the best one I've given. So like I said, for the most part, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was good. But like I said, I gave some of my negatives. But going through the story, if I can, you start in London. Well, you start, actually, I told you, with that backstory stuff. And they introduce the people in Mesopotamia, which is, they don't speak English, but we're introduced to our main characters. That means if I remember them off the top of my head, we have Cersei, played by Gemma Chan. Icarus, played by Richard Madden. Kumail Nanjiani, he plays the Indian one. I don't know the name. There's the Sprite, played by Leah McHugh. Brian Tyree Henry, who I've seen in other things, including the Child's Play remake, which is a good movie. People who love the original Child's Play, stop bashing the remake. It's still a good movie. Oh, it's not Chucky with no Child's Blu-ray. Ah, shut up. Anyway, he plays Taras or something like that. Patras, I don't know. Lauren Ridloff. I think she is the deaf one. Starts with an M. I don't know. Barry Keoghan, I think, is the one I thought was Ezra Miller, but then I realized it wasn't him. He must be Craig, something like that. Don Lee, who you may know from Train to Busan, he plays Gilgamesh. That name is Kit Harington plays the Dane, the love interest of Gemma Chan's character in this, and then you have Angelina Jolie as Athena. Salma Hayek plays Ajax. So, not to be confused with Ajax from Deadpool, but Ajax. Yeah, I was confused at first. Apparently, character was originally supposed to be male in the comics. Why couldn't he be male here? Because we could have a female leader. She dies halfway through the film, if even. She's already dead. So what's the point? You could just had the other character in here. I don't know. But yes. So, as you can tell, I'm not going to remember names. There's too many. But, so we start with Cersei in London, and she meets with Dane. They're dating Jon Snow, and then they talk with Sprite. Apparently, they told him about what's going on, but he doesn't believe him until now when the Deviants show up. They fight the Deviant, but it keeps regenerating somehow. And then that leads them to Icarus. And I'm not going to go through everything, but they recruit almost everyone. They find out Ajax is dead. They recruit everyone else. And they decide that the best thing to do, Krug, I think his name is Krug, is for Krug to use his powers. And with these rings that Brian Tyree Henry created. By the way, I should mention this. Brian Tyree Henry's character is gay. That's perfectly fine. You have a deaf character, a gay character, black, or African American, Indian, whatever Salma Hayek is. She's like Chilean, I think. Works of, Chinese or Korean. Korean? That movie was Korean, right? Don Lee? Yeah. Yes. There's something with Athena where she can't control her powers, or she's getting all her memories of everything back. I don't know. But she's being guarded by Gilgamesh. He ends up dying because of a deviant named Crow, I think is the deviant they fight in this. But they find out about the emergence. And they find out that actually they're supposed to let the emergence happen. Apparently the emergence will kill everyone on Earth, but they're supposed to let it happen because because actually the Deviants were originally sent by their big Eternal with the A to Earth to get rid of all the apex predators. But they started to, become bad, so he created the Eternals, sent them there uh, to stop the deviants. And then they were just supposed to let everything happen. After the blip, it somehow created more enough sustainable life to create the emergence, which doesn't make any sense because the same amount of people still live on Earth after the blip. Like, the whole thing when the blip happened is that it took away people, and then 5 years later they all came back. I don't know if any more people were born in between those 5 years. Maybe, but I don't know. It's really weird. It's really weird how having almost the same amount. I don't know. I'm not here to question it, I guess. I should, though. So upon finding this out, Icarus decides, I'm going to be the bad guy now, and he turns on them and takes Sprite with him because Sprite's in love with him. By the way, Sprite can never age, and she's like 12 years old. Yeah, that's weird, but she has the mind of an adult. I guess it's okay. But yeah, she goes with him because she's in love with him, and I like how Kumail Nanjiani's character refers to it like Peter Pan. Peter Pan is infatuated with Wendy, but Tinkerbell is in love with Peter Pan. So Cersei is Wendy, Icarus is Peter, Sprite is Tinkerbell. I like that. But yeah, I think there's just a lot of, let's go to this place and get this person. Okay, now we go to this place and get this person. Okay, now we'll go here and get this person. It's just, you could have cut out a lot of this and just like when this thing happened, had them all come together and talk about it. And that could have cut out maybe a half hour of the film. I'm just saying, to have this almost 3 hours, I don't know if it's really necessary. I'm just saying. There's a lot of me going, a lot of talking, a lot of, let's go get this person, let's go get this person. A lot of jokes about doing reality TV with these characters. And I don't know, I like the side character. Was that Rash, whatever his name was? I liked him. But yeah. So with Ajax dead, which glad that Salma Hayek got a paycheck. I mean, she is a little bit throughout this, but we find out that it was Icarus that killed her because she told him about the emergence, and he's decided he wants to let it happen. So he killed her, but then he turns on everyone, which also was not necessary. Because then he turns back at the end to help them, Sprite too, and then he's just like forgiven. Did you forget he killed Ajax? They use, instead of like Kruig, they use too many names. Cersei's power to turn the Eternal to marble, turn the not Eternal. The Celestial to marble and kill him. And this changes things, I guess. And they succeed, and so she uses what's left of her power to make Sprite human so she can age, but now she's got to go to school. Boo-hoo. And, I think everything's wrapping up, and then the big Celestial that starts with an A, Azmarith, brings the three of them up. I believe it was Icarus, Cersei, and Kumail, I think, that are brought up. And he says he will spare Earth if their memories reveal that it is right to do so, or something like that. Like they deserve it. Then the movie ends. We get 2 credit scenes. The first one is back on the ship. By the way, the ship is a giant fucking triangle. What a weird ship. But they're back on the ship, and we have Kruig, Athena, because there's really, like, the end is really like Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. It just goes on because, you see that they're kind of staying with Brian Tyree Henry and his family, and then they leave. So you got Athena, Kruig, excuse me, not Keurig. That's coffee. You have Athena, Kruig, and the deaf one on the planet. I believe that's on the ship, not planet, on the ship. When this little dude voiced by Patton Oswalt, it sounds like, comes in and it's like, introducing Star Fox. And I'm like, oh, we're crossing over to Nintendo 64. And no, it's Harry freaking Styles from the hell was that band called? Baby, you light up my world like nobody else. Wrong Direction. Yeah, Wrong Direction. Yeah, you got Harry Styles from Wrong Direction. Yes, I realize what the name is, but I'm calling it that. You have Harry Styles from Wrong Direction showing up as Eros, Star Fox, brother of Thanos. Yeah, that's news to me. He has a brother, and he's there to help. And then the post-credit scene goes back to Kit Harington's character, Dane. And I was curious about this character. He finds this sword. He's about to touch it. And someone, says Mysterious Man, says, are you sure you want to do that, Dane? And who's the Mysterious Man? Well, according to Wikipedia, is Blade. Which, okay. But this blew my mind. I looked up Kit Harington's character, Dane, right? It's the frickin' Black Knight. Now, y'all might not be excited about this, but I used to read comics when I was in high school, right? I used to learn up comics, Avengers comics that were there, and the Black Knight was in some of those comics. He's a bad motherfucker, man. I've been waiting for him to show up, and if this is going the way I think it is, I think they picked the right actor for it. I never watched Game of Thrones, not really interested, but Jon Snow as the Black Knight, I think would be awesome. I can't wait. I know Kevin Feige says there's not going to be any more Avengers movies, but what are we leading to if not another Avengers team-up movie? I mean, come on. I don't know. But, yeah, all things considered, though, it's going to be middle of the road for me. It's not one I'd go back to. It's not the worst. Like, everyone keeps saying, oh, it's the worst. This is not worse than... To me, the worst one is Iron Man 3. I hate that movie. I don't hate it. I hate what they did with the character of the Mandalorian. I ain't any of these. I don't like that movie. I don't hate any MCU movies, and this is another one I do not hate. So it's still a good streak, but it's middle of the road because I feel like, to me, I'd have to go back and give all the ones for the MCU. But Iron Man 3 would still be a middle of the road. Because I don't like what they did with the Mandarin. I don't like what they did with the Mandarin in Shang-Chi. But he was still handled better there than he was there in Iron Man 3. So, middle of the road. So, what are your thoughts on Eternals? If it comes along, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.